Hey everyone, welcome back to Toasty TCG. So very recently I went undefeated with Eldlich Zoodiac. That's the deck that I've chosen to play this format. I know last format I played Numeron Eldlich. It was really unfortunate because I put out that deck profile maybe like 2 weeks before it got banned. So that really sucked, and I hope that doesn't happen with this deck. So like I mentioned previously, I went undefeated with this deck. That was at locals. I beat 2 Dino players, a Guru Stun player, a Sky Striker player, and Pure Zoo. So I had a lot of great matchups, and this deck did really good. I had a few tournaments before that also did pretty decently. So as I've done multiple times before, I've already explained the entire Eldlich core. I've talked about like all the cards in it, so I'm just going to be going through it very briefly. If you're watching this video to learn all about the Eldlich card specifically, this might not be the video for you. And in my Eldlich playlist, you can find my Dogmatica and my Numeron Eldlich variants, where I go very in-depth on the Eldlich engine. So if you're trying to learn a lot about Eldlich, watch those videos. But if you're just looking for this deck list I did really well with, and you already know how Eldlich works, then stay tuned. So to start off, we're going to, of course, talk about the Eldlich engine in very brief detail. It's 2 Golden Lord, 3 is too many, 1 is not enough, 3 Eldland. Anyone who is playing less than 3 is absolutely insane. 3 Conquistador. What I just said about Eldland applies to Conquistador. 3 Wakero. I know some people play 2. I don't believe that's correct. 3 is the magic number for your Golden Lands. 3 Sanguine. You don't need white, you don't need black, you just need this card. Okay, so next up is the Zoodiac engine. So this is the first time that I've ever played Zoo. Before this, I've actually never touched the Zoodiac engine in my life, and I didn't play during Zoo format. I actually skipped over that format. This is my first time learning how these cards work and actually using them. To start off, it's only a 10-card engine where 6 of the cards in that engine are actually Zoodiacs, and what you really want is to see at most 2 cards for that engine. Any more, and it's just going to be kind of extra. To start off is Double Thoroughblade. Play this card because it fodderizes all your other zoos. Like I mentioned before, you only want to see 2 zoos, so if you see a 3rd or a 4th or something, you're going to want to have this to pitch those cards and draw you a card. And then there's also some neat combos where this card puts what you need into the grave. And when I say what you need into the grave, I mean Ram. This is actually a card that you're going to want in the grave for a little combo. It's really neat how the combo works. Then's the 1 Rat here. This is also for getting Ram in the grave. And then the final Zoodiac monster is your 1 Zoodiac Whiptail. If you're not playing the specific combo that I'm playing, you're actually not going to want to play Rat here, I don't believe, and you might want to play a 2nd Whiptail. But if you are playing this combo, some people might know what I'm talking about already, then you just want to play the 1 Rat, the 1 Whiptail. Up next is 4 copies of Tenki. 1 copy of Tenki is just specifically better than all the others. So these ones search you your Zoodiac engine. This one just slaps it on the field. And what's really cool about Zoodiac Barrage is it can target a card you control and destroy it. So that means what you can do is you can take something like your Wakero or Conquistador or your Eldland and pop them instead of destroying your Barrage. So that way you have these in your grave to get their effects. So I think that's a really neat interaction that Zoo has with Eldlich already. And there's a lot of other really cool interactions I'm going to talk about later on. But these are all just cards to get you into your 6 Zoodiac monsters. And then up next is just like some tech cards. First, Ice Dragon's Prison. You guys have been seeing me play this card a lot for quite a while. This card's just super interactive, very versatile. This card just does it all. I've had this one match when I played Dogmatica where I was against a Dragoon and I already had Ecclesia on the field. So I flip this card, I target something irrelevant, I summon that, and then I banish the Ecclesia and the Dragoon that were both already on the field. That's just how cool this card is. That's how like in-depth and versatile this card is, and how amazing it is. Just have it. It also, you know, just takes card out of the grave. You can snipe, say, like a Dino player's Miscellaneousaur, things like that, or like something against like Dragon Link. You can just like take something out of their grave that you know that they're going to want to have. It's really cool removal. Triple Droplets, another super versatile, super powerful card. You can just use this card however you want, where you just send cards off your field, like your Golden Lands, your Eldland, or if you need Golden Lord in your grave, you can do that too. There's just a lot of ways that this card interacts with Eldlich, and just being able to shut down anything on the board that you need to shut down at quick play speed, it's just really, really good. And then finally for our tech cards is Imperial Order. When I was building this deck, I just ended up having 39 cards. So I was like, I might as well main deck the Imperial Order. It comes up. It's just really cool. It blows people out. And you know that there's people out there that are going to main deck their Harpies, Feather Dusters, and things like that. So, you know, there's no reason not to just have that order if you have the space to put it in. If you're at 40 cards, you're at 40 cards, then just put Imperial Order in your side deck. But I just had the space to play Order in the main deck. Now, for my hand trap lineup, I've chosen that I really want to make sure my hand traps are made to beat the decks I expect to play against. So when I say decks that I expect to play against, my locals consists of Dragon Link, Dino players, pretty much everything that's going on in the meta, Invoked, Shaddolls, Invoke Shaddol, Dogmatica, all that stuff. So my hand trap lineup is intended to beat those types of decks. So first off is Lancia. This one just stops invocation. It can really like put a stop to how Dragon Link functions. And if you know that your opponent has Miscellaneous or they've already put it in the grave, then you have Lancia, so that way they can't banish it. It's really good against pretty much any deck you expect to play against. But like I've already mentioned, we're dealing with Dragon Link a lot, so Drool and Lockbird has been proven statistically to have the best effect against a Dragon Link player. Meaning that when you use Drool and Lock as your hand trap against Dragon Link, even if you have no other hand traps to follow up, if you did Drool and Lock, then you have the best chance of winning versus any hand trap right now. Even including Nibiru, Drool and Lock is your best odds. So we're main decking it for Dragon Link, and of course the Invoked, Shaddol, Dogmatica, because they search a lot. And technically you could count that this card works against dinosaurs. They have things like Fossil Dig, they have the Animadorned Archosaur, Oviraptor, of course, but it's just like a really good card against pretty much all the decks you can expect to play against. And then finally, just the generic Ash Blossom. There are formats where this card is not very good, but I feel like this card is decent this format because it stops dinosaurs a little bit and it stops Invoked a little bit. So unless they open Alistair plus Invocation, you know, this can shut down the Invoked engine. You can chain this to Miscellaneous Sword. It's just a very good card right now. This is like one of those Ash Blossom formats. If it was like more combo heavy, then I would say like, this card's not that great. And typically when you do play against a combo deck such as Dragon Link, you can just simply side this card out. So that's it for the main deck. That is 40 cards. Moving on, we're going to talk about the extra deck. So I'm going to talk about the Zoodiac engine first, or the Zoodiac XZs first. So starting off with our one-offs are one really good Zoodiac and one really bad Zoodiac. So you got Zoodiac Trident, quick effect, pop a face-up card. Of course, that's really good. And then you got Hammer Kong. We're only playing Hammer Kong for the name alone. It's just an extra Zoodiac to stack on top of. And then Trident's just really good. You can just slap it on the field. And it's another one of those cards that interacts with the Eldlich engine, where you can use it to pop Cursed Eldland, or if you need to get those golden lands in the grave, you can also use Trident to pop those, for example. It's just a really good card, and of course you can use it against your opponent's stuff, but those are some neat interactions that it has with an Eldlich. I have literally no idea what Hammer Kong does. Yeah, literally no idea. You just play it for the name. And then all the other zoos, I believe we're playing at 2. There's 2 Tiger Mortars, 2 Chakanines, 2 Borbos. So you play Borbo because it can attack directly. That means you can make Zeus. You play Chakanine. One thing you play Chakanine for is for the name. It's another Zoodiac, but also has the effect of bringing a zoo out of your grave, which is really helpful for the combo that we do. And then Tiger Mortar, same thing as Chakanine. You play it for the name, but you also play it for the ability to attach a material to a Zoodiac on your board. So sometimes you don't even try to like do any kind of Zoodiac effects. Sometimes you're just stacking them all on top of each other for the Divine Arsenal Zeus. And by sometimes, I mean that's what you're doing most of the time. So you just want to make sure that you have those extra zoos So that way you can make a Divine Arsenal with 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh wow, that's like way off my camera actually. You should basically end up with like 6 materials on this thing. If you like throw the 1 main deck Zoo and then like all 5 of your Zoodiacs on top of this thing or under this thing, you'll have a 6 material Zeus. And then this one will be like a 4 material Zeus because Hammer Kong and Trident are both played at 1. You guys already know what this thing does. Detach 2 material, wipe the entire board. Then up next is Big Gun and Bigger Gun. These are also really good cards. So one of them is detach material, burn for 2k. The other one is, if this has material attached to it, end the game. This card's actually, I think this is the first time I played this card, if I'm being honest. And by played, I mean put it in my extra deck. It doesn't really come up too much. I haven't had it come up very much, if at all. I don't believe I've made it yet. But it's just something that kind of just sits in my extra deck. That's like, if I have an opportunity to make it, I have an opportunity to make it. This guy, Bigger Gun, isn't that important to have, but Big Gun is still really good. Burning for that extra 2k can actually close out games. You know, you have situations where you clear your opponent's board and then you attack with double Golden Lord, and one of them was summoned by its effect in the grave, so you deal 6,000 damage, you overlay them, burn for the last 2k. This card comes up very much. And then for our links, the 1 Link Spider, you just use this to get golden lands in your grave. You link off your Conquistador Wakero, very simple. Blackluster Soldier, just another card that's like really crazy actually. You link off your Golden Lord, you can get rid of a golden land if you want to, if that's what's on your board, and you can get rid of, like, say you have like extra Zoodiacs than what you've already needed, you can link those away, or you can link off like a second golden land card. There's a lot of things you can get rid of to make this thing. This card's nuts. Just has to be different names, of course. Destroy something by battle, you get to banish a card. That's usually what you want to go for. Typically, if it destroys something by battle, you're going to, if you don't banish a card, you're going to want to raise its attack by the 1500. I don't really feel like the second attack effect is super important unless you've already raised it by that 1500 and somehow you still haven't killed your opponent and they still have no cards on their field. If those 2 instances have already happened, then sure, give it a second attack. But otherwise, just banish cards off your opponent's field during the damage step. Is super cracked. Can't be targeted or destroyed by card effects. Just a really good card. And then finally is the Infinite Track Fortress Megaclops. I've seen people have stopped playing this card, but I really like it. If you pull it off against, say, like the Invoked matchup, there's like really no way for them to out this thing. Same with Dragon Link, I believe. I don't think Dragon Link can out this unless they play like, I don't know, they have to like play some like really weird XC monster to deal with this thing, because for the most part it's a full monster deck. So they're not going to be playing too many spells and traps. That's the problem with this card, is it loses spells and traps. And also XC monsters. So, you know, if you're playing against like a Zoo matchup, of course you're not going to make this thing. If you know that whatever deck you're playing against has like some kind of XC, you're not going to make this thing. But if you're playing against a deck that you don't believe can out it, and you make this, it's probably going to win you the game. This card is actually crazy. And I'm actually going to show you how to do the combo before I get into the side deck. But before I get into that combo, if you enjoy this type of content and want to see more, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. That'd be really cool. Let's just do it off of, you can do it off of either Rapier, or you can do it with Thoroughblade with Ram in your hand, or you can do it with like one of these in your hand and Tenki or Barrage. How it works is, say you have Rapier dumps the Ram. Then you can take your Rapier and you're going to want to slap on top of it your Hammer Kong. Now you're going to take your Hammer Kong and turn it into a Chakanai. Then from there, you can detach specifically the Hammer Kong. Do not detach the Rapier. So that way you can get back the Ram. Now what you're going to do from here is you're going to turn Chakanai into your Trident. Now once again, you have to detach very specifically. You have to detach specifically the Chakanai to destroy the Ram. This is going to trigger Ram's effect I talked about earlier, where it summons a Zoo from your grave. So you're going to get back your Chakanai. Now, you're going to overlay again. You're going to turn your Trident into Tiger Mortar. And then once again, make sure you detach the XD monster underneath it. This is going to attach material to to Chakanine. So we're gonna attach a Hammer Kong. We're gonna attach the Hammer Kong to Chakanine. Then you're going to detach material from Chakanine. Keep in mind that this is a different Chakanine than the one we used earlier because it went to the grave and came back. So we're going to get back either Drident or Hammer Kong. It literally doesn't matter. And then you're just going to yeet them all in the grave, and you got Mega Clops. It's literally that simple. You just have to remember like which order to summon your XCs in, and that's literally it. Super simple combo that can just it can just ruin matchups for people. Like some people just don't have an out to that, and it can just win you that game. It's actually a crazy card. All right, moving on to the side deck. Triple Solemn Judgment. Said this time and time again about Eldlich. The biggest problem with Eldlich is back row removal. If you get hit with like an evenly matched, a Lightning Storm, a Feather Duster, list goes on and on and on. Judgment. It's just flip Judgment, and you also have Imperial Order in the main deck to stop spell board wipes, but Judgment, just flip your Judgment. Hope you have your Judgment. Speaking of back row hate, Lightning Storm and the one Feather Duster. The reason that you play one Feather Duster over the third Lightning Storm is this card is easier to use, and the reason that you don't just play triple Lightning Storm and a Feather Duster is because that's kind of overkill. The third Lightning Storm can literally just be a different card. This is basically a playset. Consider this a playset of Lightning Storm or a playset of Feather Duster. And yes, I do have a third copy of Lightning Storm that I do regret buying because now I just never use it and just kind of sits in my cards that I don't use. But anyway, moving on. Triple Kaijus, this is just to out Dragoon. You can also use this against control decks where you just want to out like one specific monster, such as like Winda, if you want to out Winda, or say you want to out, like I already mentioned before, Dragoon. You can get rid of Subterror Guru off the board. This is just like that really cool one-card spot removal. Don't put this in against combo decks because you're only going to deal with one monster. You want to be using this, like I already mentioned, against only boards where it's like they have one threat on the field. Like they might have like other monsters on the board, but there's like that one specific threat that you really want to deal with. Maybe they have like 2 threats max. If you're playing against a deck that has like a maximum of 2 monster threats, then you put in Kaijus. Any more than that, do not put in the Kaiju. Triple Nibiru, this is the one that you want to put in against Dragon Link. I know I mentioned before that Droll and Luck is the card that like wins the most against Dragon Link, but this is still a really cool, really powerful, I'm going to wipe your board card. Still definitely want to play it. And then finally, this is like a little spice card. Most people haven't really been playing this a lot lately, but I like this card a lot. You play this specifically for Dragon Link, but of course you can play against other decks that Link summon, and this card just puts you in a really good advantage. So typically against Dragon Link, you can draw a lot more cards than you would on average. And what I mean by that is, against most decks, when you do Phantasme, it's in response to them having one Link monster. Dragon Link is going to have a Link 2 in the extra monster zone, an LP, and another monster to set up their LP, such as Striker Dragon or Pisty, unless they have a World Legacy Guard Dragon where it lets them move the LP. In that case, you just do Phantasme when they have LP, and they'll have 2 Link monsters on the board still, but otherwise they're going to have 3 Link monsters, so you're going to draw 4 cards deep and fix your hand, possibly drawing into the Nibiru that you want. So this card's just really powerful, and of course you can side it in against other decks that Link summon a lot. But yes, that is my Zoodiac deck list. It's been doing really well for me, and I'm really happy with it. And I really, really hope, please Konami, if you're listening to me, do not hit my Eldlich deck again. I understand why Numeron was hit, but please leave Zoodiac alone. I don't want to see my Eldlich deck take another hit, please. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If there was any cards that you saw that you disagree with, or feel like maybe I missed any cards, let me know in the comments below, or feel free to hop into my Discord server and talk to me there. If there's any cards that you don't have that you're like, oh wow, that's a really good idea, how about you use my TCG Player affiliate link where you can purchase cards that you're going to buy anyway, and it actually helps support the channel directly. That'd be really cool. While you're down there, there's also a link to my Facebook page where I post like as soon as my videos come out, so check that out too. But yeah, anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video. This is going to be Toasty TCG signing out.